"What's going to happen?" Jado asked in a hoarse voice. Captain Solace led him to the large metal chair in the middle of the room. In fact, now that he was in the middle of the area, he could see that there were 2 chairs lined up side by side, almost like the twin thrones of a king and queen. "Sit down," Captain Solace commanded. Jado frowned. I don't want to." "Get on the chair," ordered Captain Solace. He pushed Jado toward the big chair, and a guard stepped out from behind a bank of computers and grabbed Jado's other arm. "I'll go quietly," Jado promised. He climbed into the chair. Captain Solace and the guard quickly strapped his chest, arms, and legs to the formidable-looking chair and stepped away. Now another figure appeared from the dimness of the computer bank. He was a very obese individual with curly red hair and a benign countenance. "Major Groff," Prince Baron asked, "are you ready?" "All ready," Major Groff replied, smiling at Prince Baron and glancing questioningly at Zarkov. "This is Dr. Zarkov," Prince Baron said, almost as an afterthought. Major Groff's eyes widened. "I've heard so much about you, Dr. Zarkov." "I'm sure," said Zarkov, shaking hands. Zarkov's eyes were on Jado. Jado felt cold chills race up and down his spine. For the first time since his capture, he was shaking with fear. "Well, you've come along to witness the experiment, have you?" Major Groff was gleeful. "Yes," said Zarkov. "I don't quite understand." "Well, I'll be perfectly clear in a moment," Major Groff said, rubbing his hands together. "Perfectly pellucid." Prince Baron moved over to Major Groff. "How about the prisoner? Is he secured?" Major Groff nodded, eyeing Jado. Jado stared back at him, feeling the perspiration form on his forehead. "Get the helmet," ordered Major Groff to the guard, who had been helping Captain Solace. "Aye, sir," said the guard, and hurried off. Jado tried to see where he was going, but could not follow him. "Helmet?" Zarkov asked. "What is the helmet for?" Prince Baron smiled. "You'll see, Doc." The guard appeared carrying a large metal helmet that had dozens of wires extending from it. The wires were twisted into a single strand of insulated cord, which ended in a metallic jack. Jado felt his heart jump into his throat. "What is that?" The guard smiled at him. Major Groff reached out for the helmet and lifted it over Jado's head. "It's very simple. Just sit there and we'll take care of you. It won't hurt a bit. In fact, you won't feel a thing." Zarkov was stroking his beard thoughtfully. "What on earth is it, Prince Baron?" "Ask Major Groff," Prince Baron responded. Zarkov turned to Major Groff. "Will you tell me now what you're doing?" "I'm rather busy," Major Groff said pleasantly. He turned to the guard. "Will you get the second helmet, please?" The guard saluted and ran off. "Second helmet?" Zarkov repeated, puzzled. "If you please, Prince Baron," Major Groff said with deference, indicating the second metal chair. Prince Baron nodded and climbed into the chair. Zarkov's eyes bulged almost out of his head. "Prince Baron, what is this? Why are you getting into the other chair?" Prince Baron smiled. "It's perfectly all right. Major Groff will explain it once we're under the control of the psychoscope." Zarkov's eyes narrowed. "Psychoscope?" He glanced at the bank of computers behind the chairs. "That thing?" Prince Baron nodded. "That's right, Doc." The guard hurried up with the second metallic helmet and fitted it carefully over Prince Baron's head. "Is it all right?" he asked anxiously. "Yes," said Prince Baron. "No discomfort." "Good," said Major Groff. He hurried behind the chairs, lifted the 2 metallic jacks, and inserted both swiftly into corresponding slots in the computers. Zarkov followed Major Groff behind the chairs, and Jado could not see where he had gone. He was staring ahead, his hands trembling on the arms of the metal chair. Somehow knowing that Prince Baron sat in a chair that corresponded to his made him feel somewhat easier, but it did not totally allay his fears of the unknown. What were they doing to him? What were they doing to Prince Baron? Major Groff came around and stared at Jado. "Are you comfortable?" he asked. Jado nodded. "Will you please tell me what you're going to do to me?" "Nothing at all, really," Major Groff said pleasantly. "You'll probably not even experience the slightest discomfort, and you won't remember a thing." "But—" "Prince Baron?" Major Groff asked, walking rapidly to stand in front of the other chair. "Fine," said Prince Baron. "Good." Major Groff signaled to someone standing in back of Jado's chair. Jado thought it must be Captain Solace, whom he could not see in front of him. There was a humming whir in the machinery behind him. Jado moved about inside the helmet, but found that it was quite light and did not wiggle at all. He could feel a pleasant vibration in the top of his skull, and that was all. In fact, it was so pleasurable that he soon lost all sense of tension and fear. He was very much aware of the room around him, of the table of electronic gear in front of him, of the figure of Dr. Zarkov, who stood in front of him, of Major Groff, who stood by Zarkov, and engaged in a whispered conversation with him, of the warm sensation that imbued him from head to foot now. It was like being in a kind of drugged sleep. Pleasurable sensations traveled all through his body. He forgot his travail, and thoughts of his mission to Arborea receded into the dim recesses of his mind.